Your good friend Jimbo here with our good buddy King.
Hey, how you doing, everybody?
Oh, okay, different nationality this week. Last week it was the hillbilly talk. This time it sounded like Italianish.
No, that's just Jersey. What do you mean Italianish?
Well, I mean,
There's
there is a lot of
no.
Italians in Jersey.
Don't do that. Don't do that. No. Just because I'm that's okay. Well, that brings up another point.
Oh, here we go.
And I was because I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this today. I don't know. It was because I was watching Pat show. I was watching something else, and I guess I don't know, the idea of nationality, the idea of being Italian or something came up or something like that. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, the way I talk, the loudness that I have, the bombacity that I am, and people talk about, like, those are those Jersey Italians or the New York Italians or something like that. And it's like it's not the Italians, it's the Jersey. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's not that you're Italian, it's that you're from New Jersey, and to a lesser extent from New York. But that's just how northern New Jersey is. North Jersey is, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Like, that's just New Jersey. I'm Irish and German. There's not a lick of Italian in me. And if I would go around, somebody would say, like, oh, what are you, an Italian American from Jersey? Like, no, that's just how we as New Jerseyans talk. And I know Italians will sit down and say, oh, well, that's because that's the culture we gave New Jersey. Fuck you. No, it's not. It's just New Jersey. This is just Jersey. This is just who we are. So, I mean, people need to calm down and relax with that whole thing. Just like, and I know people are going to say, well, you're still from fucking Jersey. Yeah, that's right. Fuck you. I don't give a shit. Like, yeah, people hate New Jersey. We don't like you either.
So you're saying DeVito from the Giants isn't Italian?
Well, no, he is Italian. I mean, clearly. His last name is DeVito. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
He sounds like you. You sound like him.
He sounds like me because he's from New Jersey.
So he's not Italian, you're saying?
No, God, you're... I don't want to hear anything from the guy who says crick, okay? Nothing from the crick.
Funny story about that. About 2 weeks ago or whatever. Now, people, I did not kill my wife, okay? So...
That's not a great... I got to be honest with you. I got to be honest. Especially with all the Harrison Butker stuff going on and everything like that. Shit, yeah. That is not a great way to start a story, Jimbo.
Well, I just wanted to get it out there so that, like, cops don't come banging on my door, stuff like that.
They might now. They might now.
He's like, I'm at work, and this kid at work, he's about 10 years younger than me or so. And he's like, you always look miserable and blah, blah. And I was just, bad day or whatever. And lunch comes, I, got done with lunch, started walking back to work. I'm smiling and happy. And he's like, you seem like you're in a better mood. I said, yeah, I just took my wife down to the creek and hit her down there. He's like, I'm not going to ask about the wife, but what is that? I said, crick. He's like,
I'm not going to ask about the possible spousal murder, but the way you pronounce words is really troubling.
And he stood there. He stood there for about 5 minutes trying to get me to pronounce it right. He goes, how do you spell it? I said, Creek. He goes, yeah. What's the two E's sound like? I said, eh. He's like, I just can't. I can't. I said, trust me, my best friend of 12, 13 years, my wife has tried for years to try to get me to speak the right way, but it's just... And
here's the thing, you can't blame being like, oh, well, I'm a Pennsylvania hick, and that's how we do it, because your wife is like an even more southern hick.
Yes.
Like, she's from, what, Virginia or Tennessee, somewhere like that?
I believe she was born in Virginia, but lived down, like, Tennessee area.
Oh, so she's southern, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And even she's looking at you like, what kind of hick nonsense is coming out of your mouth? Like, I mean, that needs to tell you right there that maybe you should reassess how you say. And here's the thing that it's always bothered me for, like you said, 12, 13 years now. The thing that has always bothered me is that right near our area where we used to live up there, there is a little township called Hunlocks Creek.
Yes.
You say Hunlocks Creek.
Yeah.
But the creek that runs through Hunlocks Creek, which is Hunlocks Creek, you call it a crick.
Just like Bear Creek.
No, it's Bear Creek. But the township of Bear Creek. But if you were to go down to the actual water, you would say it's Bear Creek. It's Bear Creek and Bear Creek. Like, that bothers me about you. Like, so you know how to say it, you just refuse to.
If I think about it, I'll pronounce it the right way. But if I just don't think and just, well, typical Jimbo, just say it, it comes out Jimbo Gauge.
Oh, well, here's the thing, and like, it's not just you.
Yeah.
Like, that apparently it's a Northeast PA thing, with all the hyenas out there, because that's apparently the Northeast PA dialect, like how Pittsburgh is the Yinzers, and how they say all that kind of stuff, and I know there's other names for other places, I don't know, but I know Northeast PA is hyena, because that's just the accent from up there is a hyena. I guess that's a thing of like, hey now, how are you? It just comes out as hyena.
But it also means yes too, because you could be like hyena now. So like yes or no.
Well, yeah, but that kind of bleeds into the yeah, no, and no, yeah.
Yeah.
Of the area, which I didn't do until I moved to Pennsylvania. I'm from Jersey. First 20 years of my life, and when I moved to Pennsylvania, it didn't take that long. And next thing I know, when somebody asks me something, it's like, if I'm answering in the negative, it's yeah, nah. But if I'm answering in the affirmative, it's nah, yeah. And you don't realize it until you do it, and then somebody says, "Yeah, no, yeah, huh?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, why am I doing that? What is this? Why am I saying both? That's giving such a confusing message." But it kind of isn't, because you kind of realize, after a while, it's like, "Oh yeah, no, that's I get it, I guess." But it's just so, like the regional dialects are so interesting. But yeah, you can knock it off with the crick. That's for sure.
So slow week, but we got some news we could talk about.
There's some stuff going on, dude. Listen, there's always something going on.
And actually, let's kick it off with the draft going to Pittsburgh. NFL draft going to Pittsburgh.
I did. I saw that news come out. Pittsburgh getting a draft. Some people happy about it. Some people are complaining about the traffic already. I would imagine they're probably the locals there. They're not too happy about that. But what do you want? You could not have the draft. I mean, that's fine, I guess. If you don't want it, but
I saw someone say that they feel that like with the Roonies getting the draft, this is their way of showing the NFL, because they've been trying to get a Super Bowl there for some time now.
Won't happen.
And I agree. After the New York,
MetLife was fine because they got a lucky break. It was middle of February. We ended up having like a 56-degree day. Like, it was almost 60 degrees on February 3rd or whatever it was. Like, it was so unseasonably warm. The game itself sucked, and MetLife as a stadium sucks. But like, the weather was fine. But how many times do you want to roll that dice?
That's the thing, especially Heinz Field being. Well, I don't care. It's always going to be Heinz Field to me.
It's Heinz Field. Yeah, let's be honest.
Heinz Field being right on the river.
It's right at the Three Rivers there. Yeah, it's where Three Rivers Stadium was.
Me and my oldest have been there for the outdoor games, and unfortunately for us, we were facing the tunnel where the wind blows off the river.
So you were facing the open end of the stadium where Boswell used to kick it, and you'd see that thing fucking snake.
Yeah, and I mean, when they say it's a 20-degree difference, let me tell you.
What was colder? What was colder, Pittsburgh or MetLife this year?
Pittsburgh, just because of that wind.
Just the wind. People. I mean, some people don't get it, especially if you're like Southern. But man, and when it's already cold, like, you don't understand cold until you get windy cold.
Yeah.
Like, it can be 22 degrees out, and it can be okay. You can live through, like, it's fine. But you start getting, 15-mile-an-hour winds, 20-mile-an-hour winds. Like, that changes everything.
Well, to give you an example, I mean, after the first period, so Andy at the time, he was 9-10 years old at the time. And I said, you know what, buddy, let's go get hot chocolate. I'll get you a hot chocolate, get me a hot coffee, just get something hot in us. picked it up off the counter, turned, went over to maybe 10 feet away where the napkins are and everything, already ice cold.
Yep.
There's no hot.
And it's not like that's not an exaggeration. Like, well, I mean, we saw the pictures this year from. Now, again, it's a little bit more of an extreme example, but I mean, it's not too far off. Is you saw people's beers and sodas and coffees and hot chocolates were freezing in Kansas City during that playoff game with the Dolphins. Like I mean, you saw it. Yeah. I mean, it was right there for everybody to see. Like it was. Like it's that kind of thing. So like you would say that, and a lot of people might be like, that's bullshit. No, like it gets cold. I mean, listen, it's cold. Granted, I'm a northern guy.
Yeah.
I can't live below the Mason-Dixon. I can't do it. Like it's just it's too warm. It's too humid. My ex-wife one time took me down to South Carolina. She took me down there in August for some God-saken fucking reason. I have no idea.
Did you leave her in the creek?
And actually, I think there was a creek behind the house.
There you go.
Yeah, well, I'm playing into it. But there was like a little like waterway. I don't know if it was a canal or a creek or something behind her aunt's house. That's where we went to visit. Yeah. But dude, it was 1,000% humidity every day, 93 degrees every day. You walked outside, instantly covered in just a layer of like it was just horrible. And then every night was a thunderstorm, and I love thunderstorms. They're great, and they usually break the humidity. Nope, not at all. Thunderstorm, still humid as shit.
Wow.
Spent 10 days down there. Every day was humid, soaked through every piece of clothing I had. I was like, I never again. I was like, how do people live down here? It's impossible for human beings to live below the Mason-Dixon. Give me 20 degrees and 2 feet of snow any fucking day of the week over that shit. Never. Yeah. Plus the bugs, plus the fucking spiders, plus all the fucking animals and fucking gators and fucking other fucking lizards and nah, fuck that. Nuh-uh. See, the great thing about the North is once you hit about September, October, everything fucking dies. Beautiful. Love it. It's great.
So you yell at me for telling a story about
I'm talking about bugs and ants and spiders. You talked about your wife. There's a difference.
Getting back to the draft going to Pittsburgh, this is going to be a freaking awesome show.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, what do you think about it? Like, what's your feelings about?
I mean, this is what they're doing. What they're doing with the draft is they're like, because a lot of people were saying like, oh, why don't they just call it the Rust Belt draft? Because you got Cleveland, you got Detroit, you got Pittsburgh now, you got all these. They're giving it to the places, to the markets, because that's it. Next year's is in Green Bay. Okay. So they're giving it to the places that don't get Super Bowls. That's what they're doing. Okay. So like people, because some people saying like, why not do it in Miami? Why not do it down in like New Orleans, party atmosphere? Why not do it in L.A., big market theaters, and you can kind of have the whole thing, Hollywood, flashing lights, because they don't want to do it where they have like a normal rotation of Super Bowls, so that you're not gonna. I don't think you're ever gonna see the draft in Miami, in Houston, in Los Angeles, in Phoenix, in New Orleans. Places like that. You're going to see it in Philadelphia. You're going to see it in Detroit, Cleveland, Green Bay coming up, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, New England will probably get one soon. Because they have the whole fucking Patriot place there. You know what I mean? So they can pack that out and do all that kind of stuff. Even though I know the traffic's bad and trying to get there and whatever. But I think that's the way they're going about it, is kind of like, okay, well, you're in the cold weather and you don't have a dome, so you're never going to get the Super Bowl. But here, have this giant event, 70, or between 250 and, because what was it? Up until this year, like 250, I think was the biggest crowd they had for it.
Something like that.
And then this year in Detroit, they did almost 780,000 people showed up for all 3 days. So, You're going to look somewhere between that. You're going to have big crowds. It's a big economic boom because people are coming in. People stay at hotels. People buy food. People all the other stuff. So that's why you have these cities bidding on it. And it's like, yeah, it's not the Super Bowl, but it's still NFL related. It's still a huge economic boon to a city. And it looks good, especially if people show up and show out. And people are starting to do that now because that's the thing. It's to a point now with the draft that it doesn't matter. Like when it was at Radio City in New York, like, yeah, it was about the players, who's getting drafted, what trades are going on, everything like that. Now, the draft event itself, like if you go to the draft, you're not going there to see who the fuck gets picked. Nobody cares. You're going there to kind of party, celebrate your team, see everybody else. It's an event. It's now an event. The actual picking of the players and the trades and stuff like that, that's all almost secondary now.
Yeah.
That's for the people like you and me, for the pundits, for like the actual sports people who go and do that. But the draft itself is just an event. Like when they had it in Nashville a couple of years ago, they had fucking like Taylor Swift announced her fucking album on the draft.
Yeah.
Like, like it was like this was before she was banging Travis Kelce. This is before any of that stuff. Like she didn't really have a real connection to the NFL, but it was a big event. It was on ESPN, ABC, which she has kind of like a partnership with Disney, ABC. So she was able to pull that. Like that's the thing. And now that like you're going to see that. And we kind of have seen that with this, where you're going to see performances and people come out and they do stuff, or they announce this, or somebody makes an appearance here, or do something like that. And it's like people that don't have anything really to do with the draft. It's things that aren't even adjacent to football, but they're there. Why? Because it's an event. It's become like a springtime Super Bowl.
Yeah.
For that reason. So that's again, it's a big pickup for Pittsburgh. They get to hold a huge event. They get to have this whole thing. Like, again, they're not going to get a Super Bowl. Green Bay's not going to get a Super Bowl. But you're going to tell me that not everybody in the state of Wisconsin is going to show up to Green Bay next April?
Yeah.
They're going to be there. Doesn't matter how cold it is.
The one thing that, with the just draft in general, like going from city to city, I just can't believe, because I think I heard this on Pat McAfee's show, and I think Roger Goodell is the one that said it, how Radio City called them up and say, hey, we're going to put a show in here where you guys usually have the draft. You got to move the draft.
Well, that was back when there was a huge dust-up between Dolan and the NFL. Because, I don't know if everybody, James Dolan owns Radio City and Madison Square Garden and the Knicks and the Rangers and Jacob Javits and all that stuff. And he owns Jacob Javits. Now, this was during a time where the Jets were trying to build their West Side Stadium.
Okay.
On the west side of New York City. And Dolan was fighting that because it would obviously take convention space and time away from Jacob Javits Center. I think they might even had to knock down Jacob Javits Center because it was like the West Side Rail Yards, plus it was just. But he didn't want to lose any of like the boat show and all the other stuff, all the big conventions that come to New York City, go to the Jacob Javits Center, which he runs.
Okay.
So, and the NFL was throwing their support behind the Jets to get the West Side Stadium done, and Dolan was doing everything he could to stop it. So, in a petty move, he told the NFL, yeah, you can't have the draft in Radio City this year. Sorry, guys. It's booked up. Sorry about it. If you want to, you can move it to June if you want. But, we got it booked up. So, I mean, what you think you're going to bully the fucking NFL?
See, I didn't know Dolan owned it.
Yes.
That's why I was like, who has the balls to stand? It's like a David versus
It's not the
Goliath.
balls. It's the stupidity. It's the stupidity.
Yeah.
To realize that, well, what are you going to move the draft? Oh, what are you going to do? And so what did the NFL do? They did what they always do. They fucking made money. They realized, okay, let's take because here's the other thing, too. There was rumors beforehand that the NFL kind of wanted to start moving the draft and have it kind of like in different places. Like the NHL does that already, where they have the draft in different cities every year. Yeah. And they've been doing that for 40 years or whatever. But it's not anything like the NFL does now. Like it's, you see that it's a little bit more small scale. It really is. But the NFL, if the NFL does something, it's going to do it. But there were already rumors about that happening around that time, and so then Dolan doing that and trying to do like, well, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? You want to try to screw me with the Jets on the West Side Stadium? Then I'm going to screw you with that. And so what did the NFL do? They took the draft away. They said, all right, we'll go around. And instead it's turned into what it is now, which is, just this, again, it's another giant event that the NFL can do, that they make a ton of money. All the cities they visit make a ton of money. And Dolan shot himself in the goddamn foot. And it kind of, the West Side Stadium didn't end up happening. We ended up getting fucking MetLife Stadium because of it, which, again, thanks a fucking lot, James Dolan. Because if the Giants' original plan for that stadium went through, it would have been gorgeous. But that was it. They each wanted something different. The Giants wanted like a vintage kind of throwback, like brick facade, and, kind of, a nicer design like that. I'm thinking kind of like, a mix of like Camden Yards and Lincoln Financial Field and kind of something like that, kind of like a little hybrid of that. And the Jets wanted this big glass kind of modern architecture kind of thing, which would have looked very good on the West Side. It would have fit with the aesthetic that is New York City. Yeah. But when you have those two things and then they both went halvesies on the stadium, and it was like, well, let's compromise. And so the compromise was we got a fucking air conditioner. So listen, the good news, sorry to cut you off here real quick, but just the good news is that the Jets actually might be looking to move to Queens, I think. Oh, yeah? I know they're starting to look now because the New York City FC is building a stadium out there by Citi Field, out there in Queens and Flushing. And so the Jets might look in that area, kind of make it its own little sports complex, kind of like Philadelphia. Yeah. And if that's the case, then the Giants might just knock down MetLife and build again, which I hope they do. Like I know it costs $1.5 billion, but that place fucking sucks.
That's why I started laughing, because I'm like, you're like, oh yeah, Jets are thinking about moving over. I'm thinking they don't even want the stadium no more.
Nobody wants it. It's such a bad stadium, but it's their own fault. Yeah. It's the Jets and the Giants' own fault. They compromised on it, and what do you get when you get compromised? You get shit. Yeah. So I wish the Giants would have stuck to their guns, or just would have fucking kept. Giant Stadium was fucking fine. Yeah. Giant Stadium was fine, and instead they went with the giant HVAC unit, and this is what we got stuck with here. So yeah, I mean, James Dolan's an idiot, and he cost himself a ton of money, but overall, it was a good move. It was a good move for the NFL. It was a good move for us, the fans. Again, it's become there's an NFL event. It feels like for every season. We have spring, and now that we have spring football, and I know people like to shit on the UFL and everything like that, but I enjoy it. Go Battlehawks, caw, doing great. We're in the playoffs. But like you have the draft, which is kind of like the spring NFL event. And then when summer comes around, you have the training camps and preseason that open. Then obviously you have the regular season for fall and winter. Like, there's always something happening. And a lot of that might get shifted around or moved, especially if they go to the 18-game schedule. Yeah. Which I know they're talking about as well. But like there's all like there's I know people are getting upset. They're saying like, oh, the NFL's overexposing itself. It's all too much. Like, if you don't like it, like, you don't have to watch it. But this is the point, is like, everybody's fucking watching it. Yeah. Like, the numbers have never been higher. The revenue has never been higher. The money coming in has never been higher. And people want to complain about things being on, and that's the latest thing, is people were complaining and trying to compare about, the streaming, and well, you have to have all these different streamings now to watch the NFL and stuff like that. But as I brought up on last week, and I'll bring it up again here, most of the people, again, the majority of the people in the nation here, already have the streaming services that you would need in order to watch NFL football. You already have it. You know, like people are trying to add in the cost of getting Sunday ticket or doing something like that. And listen, if you're an out of market fan, or if you're just somebody that likes to watch all the other games, or having red zone and stuff like that, I get that. But at that point, it's a luxury.
Yeah.
Like Sunday ticket is a luxury. It's not a necessity. So I don't add that cost into it. Again, if you're an out of market fan and you want to watch your team, I mean, that sucks. I'm sorry. But, listen, I lived my life that way for 20 years. I was a Giants fan living in Northeast PA. All I got to watch was the fucking Eagles or the Steelers. That was all that came on TV. Every now and then, if the Eagles had a bye week and they decided to put the Giants on, or the Giants happened to be on at the same time, I could maybe catch a Giants game once or twice a season.
Yeah.
But, it kind of sucks, and then, you kind of go to those websites where you can find, the illegal streams. Not saying you should do that, not condoning that whatsoever. Just saying that they're out there. Well, if you want to go ahead and take a look at them, some of them, sometimes you can stream them if you look to the east. I'm just going to say, if you can stream them if you look to the east. Just going to point that out there. Anyway, it's not that much of a cost difference. You're not paying, that's the thing. With the NFL going to Netflix, you're not going to have to pay an extra fee to watch the NFL on Netflix. If you have Netflix, you got it. Yeah. Like I said, the only one I don't like is Peacock, because the Peacock app fucking sucks. But even that, and this is a piece of information I didn't have last week, the people who bought Peacock to watch the cock and the Chiefs Dolphins game last year for the playoffs, there was, I think they said a 78 or 80% retention rate for the people who got it. So that's even 20%. So, and whether or not they kept it because they wanted it or because they fucking forgot, either way,
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
That's an 80% retention rate.
Yeah.
That's a win. That's not a win. That's a championship. That's a whole fucking parade for the corporate for NBC and Peacock. So they sit there and say oh, well, I don't want this. I don't want this. This is terrible. I have to pay for this. Well, the numbers say otherwise. Yeah. And what's the old saying? Numbers don't lie. That's what I've been saying with Daniel Jones this whole time. You look at his numbers. Him and Josh Allen are the same goddamn quarterback. The only difference is one has an offensive line and had a world-class number one wide receiver. That's the only difference. Numbers don't lie.
Chase Claypool's not a number one wide receiver?
Well, I mean, you're going from Stephon Diggs, granted the problems and locker room cancer that he was, to Chase Claypool, who is not nearly as talented and also is kind of a locker room cancer. That's kind of I don't know.
And that's the other funny part about this whole streaming stuff is when NFL and Prime Video, Amazon made the agreement to have the Thursday night games on.
Right.
All the people, I gotta buy that now. I gotta get the Amazon, and yet I'll tell you, my father was one of them. Oh my God, it's Thursday Night Football. It's not on NBC or whatever it used to be on.
It was on fucking NFL Network, which you still had to have cable to fucking get.
Yeah, and guess what he did? He bought Amazon. You
get Amazon Prime
Video.
Yeah. But here,
it's don't bitch because you're going to eventually do it anyways. And even with the the Netflix Christmas games, Peacock, Comcast/Xfinity just came out last week, and so they have a new bundle coming out that's going to include all that stuff. Plus, I think Apple Plus, I think might be the other one. It was one. Well,
I think there's a bundle coming out. I think that is going to be Disney Plus, ESPN, something. Because Disney Plus now has Hulu on it too. So you have that you have ESPN Plus and Apple TV of some kind of bundle there. So they're going to be putting stuff together, and other companies are probably going to end up doing that as well. I know. Some of the other ones are looking to do just straight up sports bundles as well. Yeah. Of having Peacock and Paramount or something. They're looking to do that. So you're going to get to the point where it's, where it's still going to be cheaper than cable.
Yeah.
And like the thing with the Amazon is, I see Amazon the same way almost I see Netflix is. A lot of people have an Amazon account.
Yeah.
Especially after the pandemic, especially when everybody was stuck in their fucking house. Everybody got Amazon, so they get Amazon Prime, so they could just get shit and buy shit. People were just sitting at home fucking buying shit and having it delivered. There was more, that's why the Amazon delivery service went to shit during the pandemic, because there were people just ordering so much, they were just hiring people to chuck shit at doors, man. So... like, a lot of people already have Amazon Prime. And if you have Amazon Prime, guess what? You got Prime Video. It comes with it. It's already there.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Is like that was already part of it. Because that was my first reaction, too. I was like, oh, man, they're moving it to Amazon Prime. Like, people are like, oh, we're going to have to do that. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. My wife has Amazon Prime. Okay, I'm good. And then I was thinking, oh, man, poor Dad. Dad is all the way up there. He's not. I was like, oh, wait a minute. My father, who's almost in his late 70s, almost 80, he has Amazon Prime. So it's no skin off his ass, because, all right, I'll tell you, he watches Thursday Night Football, no goddamn problem.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not a thing where it's like, because a lot of people say, oh, well, the older people are going to, trust me, if the older people are fucking smart enough, I mean, if they're just intelligent people, they're going to be able to figure out and do it.
It just boils down to people hate change. Don't like something new.
People want to bitch. People want to bitch. They want to bitch all the time. Like, people are bitching about the new kickoff.
Yeah.
Before we've even had it yet. Oh, it's just XFL bullshit. The XFL shit is a lot better than what we saw last year in the NFL.
Yeah.
Fucking fair catching fucking kickoffs, eat my ass. No.
That was so stupid.
I'd rather have the runners, the two teams be on the 35 and 30, 5 yards apart, down all the way there, where, okay, you don't get the run up, you don't have the wedge blockers or anything like that, keep everything safe, I get it. But at least you have some kind of fucking return.
Yeah.
And where the return has to be there. It makes it part of the game now. That's a great thing. But people want to complain about it simply because it's not that. Same way the people bitching about the Giants throwback uniforms. I'm sorry. Oh, this looks terrible. Oh, what are they trying to be Michigan? It's like, have a sense of fucking history. Would you? Read a book. Nobody wants to read a goddamn book.
So that part of it, I don't, and this might be me being naive with history, but why Michigan? Like the Montreal
It's not Michigan. This is the thing. The flying wing helmet, the old leather helmets, the flying wing design was almost on like every one of them. That or some variation of it was on them. Like, that was a common design.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of them had it. Like, even this thing, Michigan didn't even have it first. That's it. The man who brought it to Michigan brought it with him from Princeton. That was Princeton's helmet. And he brought it to them. But even before that, the Giants had that design before Michigan did. That helmet design they have was theirs before Michigan had their flying wing.
And you're saying the helmet design? You mean the paint scheme on the
because that's what you're saying. The paint scheme. It was actually how the leather was stitched into the helmet.
Okay.
Like that. Though the reason that it has that flying wing design and the three stripes, those were pieces of leather that were sewn, and they just painted those pieces of leather.
Oh, all right.
So what you see like that, like if that was a leather helmet, that was a piece of leather stitched in. And some of them, a lot of people kept it either the regular brown or they painted it the other colors they wanted, or just like the Bears, I know they painted it just was that midnight blue, and they had, but like that style of helmet, I think it was Rydell actually for the leather helmets, even all the way back then. Like that was just the fucking design. Like that was how it was there, or some variation. Like some didn't have the three stripes. Like you've seen the Bears one. You ever see the Bears, the recent Bears throwbacks where they have all the stripes on the shoulders and they have the three stripes on the helmet?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's just missing the front panel. It's missing the front flying wing panel, but it has the three stripes on it. Because those are just pieces of leather on the helmet. But that's what I mean. Like, it's just normal shit like that. Just like common sense. Just read a history book and say, oh, I don't like their pants are brown. Yeah, they had fucking khaki pants back then. That's all they had. It was canvas fucking pants. What do you want? You know, like I don't understand the stupidity sometimes. And yes, you know, it's not like, oh, it looks so, like it's a throwback uniform. It's meant to look fucking old. Like it's not meant to be something,
and
you
ugly.
know. I don't know.
And gross
It
looking.
gets me upset. Not only because it's my Giants, but because it's ignorance of uniform history. And as somebody who was a uniform history buff and a logo nerd and a uniform nerd, it grinds my gears. Really grinding right now.
Well, I got a little bit of history with jerseys and stuff like that. So it looks like Montreal Canadiens jersey. So
Now, see, I can understand like people making that, but it's hard to make an argument to say like, well, the Giants didn't have it first. Fucking Montreal's been wearing that since like fucking 1912, 1913. They had that one. They had a couple of uniforms before that. It was like a big C on a leaf, and it was other stuff like that. And then they eventually went with the big blue stripe on the red sweater. But even so, like those are the Giants' colors. And the thing that people forget about that era in football too is teams only had one jersey, so you had to look different enough from all the other teams to still so that people didn't get fucking confused and shit. Yeah. So like I'm sure there were other teams that just had a blue jersey or other teams that just had a red jersey. So the Giants said, well, our colors are blue and red. Let's fucking go. Blue stripe, red jersey. Fuck yeah. I'm sure they were jacked about it, Yeah. And it looks good. I will say the Fanatics uniforms, just like all the other ones, look like shit. So if I do get one, I will be looking over to our good friends in Taiwan and our communist friends in China, I guess. But
I guess we won't be able to ask our good buddy Marvin Harrison Jr. Get one from Fanatics.
Listen. I like that. I like him. He's smart. Well, because it's not that it's Fanatics. It's the Players Association. He hasn't signed the deal.
Fanatics is suing him.
They're trying to sue him.
Trying, I should say.
Because they're saying that they had a deal with him from, I guess, college or something.
That's where this all stemmed from.
That said that, and Marvin Harrison said, no, you don't. Which is going to be fairly easy to find in court,
Yeah.
Either there's a contract with his name on it and a notary seal, or there's not.
Yeah.
So one way or another, we're going to find out,
And it can't be verbal either.
No.
I
mean, I know people have held verbal contracts up in court, but like unless it's I don't know how you do that unless it's got to be recorded or something like that, like a handshake agreement. Like handshake agreements, I don't think last in court. Like I don't see how they would, but good. Like first of all, good for him. I mean, if he feels like that's not where he wants his money to be, or that he's not going to get enough money, he thinks he can get more money, or whatever the case is. Listen, I'm never going to begrudge anybody fighting for their own money. I'm not. Yeah. He's already making a couple million. I don't care. Make more. Make as much as you can. Listen, in this, as somebody talking to you who has $15 in his bank account, and that's not a lie. I've posted it on social media. As somebody who has $15 in his bank account, I hold no issue with anybody, whether you are somebody who has $15 in your bank account, whether you're somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck, whether you're a football player making millions of dollars looking to get more, whether you're whoever you are. If you got a chance as an individual to make yourself money that will set you up to live comfortably and for your family and your children and whatever, and even if you don't have children, find your fucking pets. I don't give a shit. If you just have a chance to be able to live stress-free, comfortably for the rest of your life with all the money you can get all the money you can get. This goes out to everybody. Like, listen, I'm like, I understand like some people might be working at a job that they hate or do something like that. If you can find a side hustle, you find something else that you do, and you make t-shirts, you know, like we're doing. If you go over to stay-tuned-sports-merch.printify.me, I'm making some t-shirts there that we can go ahead and you can buy and you can sell us, and we help us make some money because we need money. As I said, $15 bank account, not great. But anything you do out there, whether you're making T-shirts, whether you're, on Etsy making crafts and doing things like that, if you're looking, like if you try to invest stuff, if you win a fucking lottery, like whatever you're doing to make money, as long as it's within legal means,
Yes.
I would say be careful with the fucking gambling. But even if you're like, hey, I'm good with the horses, or I know how to bet right, whatever. If you are, go nuts, have fun. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. But whatever you're doing, as long as you're doing it within legal means, I'm going to say that right now because they're doing the other stuff, not great. I'm going to say because Baskin Robbins always finds out. The government's always going to find out, unfortunately. But do what you got to do. Do what you got to do to make the money they got to do. And I know he comes from, his father who made millions and millions and millions in the NFL and has probably invested it and done well with it. And he's going to make millions and millions and millions in the NFL. And, so he's money who comes from money. And so that's why I think people are like, oh, little privileged boy trying to get more money. Yes. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you come from money. I don't care if you come from the gutter. I don't care where you come from. If you got a chance to make money, make your money. In this world, make your money. And this, again, we're on this earth for a short fucking time. Do what you got to do to secure yourself, get yourself comfortable, and to live happy. You know what I mean? Like that's been my motto the whole time. As long as you don't fuck with anybody else, as long as you leave your shit to you, and don't force your shit on anybody else. Like, do whatever the fuck you want to do that makes you happy. Like, the dudes out there who like dressing as girls and doing the drag shit and all that kind of shit. Like, I'll never, that's fine. You want to go, by the way, some of those drag clubs are some of the funnest places to go. I know that for a fact. You want to have a good night, you want to have a good evening, go to one of those shows. Those things are great. But, like that shit is, like, you want that, you want to live a life, you want to do something that makes you happy, you feel like that's the way you can live your life and be happy. Listen, we're on this earth for a short fucking time, man. Do what you got to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So whether it's that, whether it's if you want to sit at home and fucking eat cheese all day, if you want to fucking, whatever, as long as you got the money to live that kind of lifestyle, you got the, because cheese can get fucking expensive.
Yeah, it can.
So if that's how you want to fucking live, if that's how you want to be, do it. But that's what I mean. So make the money where you can, live your life the way you want to, leave other people alone. But whatever makes you happy and whatever makes you successful and makes you secure and comfortable enough to live the life that you have to, that's fine. That's what I'm looking to do right now, because I want to live a nice, comfortable life. I can't do that with $15 in my fucking bank account. So I'm not very comfortable right now. But so with the whole Marvin Harrison Jr. thing, man, there's no I don't. People who get upset at that are people like it comes from a place of jealousy. I find.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of that. It's just like, well, he's got to have that. Like, yeah, you're saying that because you don't have that money.
Yeah. And see, me, like my opinion about it is, I don't think he's privileged. I don't think that's why he's doing it. I just think he feels strongly about something that happened in the past with those two and is standing up for it. And there's nothing wrong with standing up for something that you believe is right, even though the other people, the other business, whatever, thinks it's wrong.
Absolutely.
So.
And not only that, Fanatics quality fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So Fanatics, you suck. You are awful.
We saw that with Major League Baseball earlier this year.
Dude, and here's the thing. Fanatics has sucked forever when it comes to their fan apparel. For the replica jerseys and things like that you could buy. Those have been fucking atrocious for years. Spending $200 on that kind of quality, eat my shit. But the fact of the matter is that they then put that on the fucking field this year.
Yeah.
I mean, people were like, what? Like when you're seeing dudes just hanging down, trying to play baseball, pants just ripping. Like, what the... Like and here's the other problem is that now Fanatics is going to be the on-ice apparel for the NHL.
Oh.
They're going to be the NHL jerseys. I don't know about that.
What?
I don't know about that.
I don't understand. Why are they going for, you got Reebok, you got Nike out there. Why are they all this, well, NHL, MLB.
I don't know.
Why-
I don't know because
why?
I think Nike owns. Does Nike own Bauer or CCM? CMM. CC. I know they own one of them. Maybe they own
Okay.
both of them. I don't know. And I know Nike wanted to get out of the deal, and Adidas was in. I think who is the NHL currently? I think are they Adidas? I don't know who the NHL's current uniforms are anyway. To tell you the truth, but the fact that I think it is Adidas. But the fact that they're going now over to Fanatics, and you're going to see that stupid fucking logo on the goddamn jerseys, it's like just like someone's going to go get into a fight and they're going to rip right. It's going to be like the old school days of the old tearaway jerseys. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say
It's going to be.
You're gonna
It's going to
see
be
someone
that.
grab 'em like this, and
It's just going to come right off. You know what I mean? It's just.
it'll be like watching WWE Raw back in the '90s with Trish Stratus and Lita.
Oh, that was Lita was my girl. I always went for the alt girls. I noticed that about
Yeah.
me in my life. I don't know why. I don't know what seminal moment pushed that for me. But if you're goth or just alternate or kind of like that's it. Trish was the blonde, huge fake rack and all that kind of stuff, and everybody's like, "Oh, Trish," and I was like, Trish. But Lita, red hair. The
Yeah.
tattoos, the thong and the low-rise cargo pant. Like, come on. Like, right up my alley. I don't know why. It's always been, like, the alternative girls. That's always been my go-to. If you're goth, if you're kind of like that alt scene girl, that's where I'm going to go. That's where I'm going. Even sometimes the emo girls. I don't know why. Just dark hair, dark lipstick, piercings, tattoos. Let's fucking go. That's always been my jam. I don't know what it is. I'm a weird person. I'm a weird guy.
That you are. You want to talk about the possibility of the schedule, the NFL going 18
Well, I had
games
brought that
and
up. I did bring that up earlier because I did want to mention that because we have mentioned that a couple of times on this show about how the NFL is looking to go to an 18-game schedule and how I'm in favor of it. And that's what I want to see happen. And the way we discussed it too was like there's going to have to be, I think, a give and take with the concessions when it comes to the NFLPA. Now, when we had discussed it before, I think we also talked about how I think it was with the running backs we were talking about, like how their contracts are and how maybe they'll get maybe they can negotiate a way to get running backs a year sooner off of the rookie contracts than the other positions simply because of by the time they reach their fifth year, they're already considered old and used and then they can't really make any money after that. And it's kind of bad. So maybe they're a way to shave that down. And that's something I think they are going to have to negotiate and talk about too. But Roger Goodell was asked on recently because they had the owner meeting down there. There's a couple other things I want to talk about from the owners meetings as well. But they had the owners meetings down in, I want to say Nashville, I think it was. And he was asked about the 18-game schedule. And he did say the key thing for us is looking at, or let me see if I can do a Goodell here. The key thing for us is we're looking to make sure we continue to do the things that make our game safer. So we want to make sure that there's hits that hits that first boundary. 17 games, it's a long season. It's a long season. So we want to make sure we look at that and make sure we continue our safety efforts. Not the best Goodell, but, what are you going to do?
That's up there. That was pretty good.
Not bad. He's also went on to say you've seen a lot of the outcomes of them doing that. The kickoffs are a good example. The hip drop tackle, I don't know about that one. So we're going to continue to do that. He said that's the number one priority is player safety. Number two is working with the Players Association. They would want to go ahead and reach an agreement with them before they proceed at all with anything, which goes to the point that we were talking about is there's going to have to be a bit of a concession give and take here with getting that 18th game. I think immediately, a part that isn't even concessions is another bye week and taking a preseason game off the board.
Yeah.
Now, Goodell he came in here and he talked about how he wants that off. He doesn't want preseason game. He said, get that off the board. We don't want more preseason games. We want less preseason games. If we get that and put more regular season games, that's what I'm in favor of. And I agree with that. And I also agree with, if it goes 18, you got to add a second bye week. Gives you 20 total weeks. I think that's not even talking about. I think that goes, if you want the 18 games, all that comes with it. I think what you're going to need is to make another concession or two to the Players Association in order to still get that 18th game. Whether that's modifying contracts for running backs or doing some kind of other revenue sharing thing, I don't know what that'll be. That's something that they'll discuss in 6 years, I think is when the next CBA is. So he said, third, and this is not necessarily in order, is the quality of the game. We would like to do it in the context of reducing the number of preseason games, which we talked about. We think that's a good trade. Less preseason games and more regular season games. I think most anybody would think that was beneficial. But again, those other two factors, the player safety and working with the Players Association, are important. What else did he say? On the timeline, he says, I think I raised it not in the context of, I think I was asked about the idea of playing on Saturday night. So the idea of it was really just a reaction to other alternatives to playing on a Saturday night. That's how it came up. I wasn't floating something we were actively thinking about. It is something that we think about in long-range context. Again, moving to quality and making sure that we are doing everything possible to give the fans what they want. And they want, obviously, more football. But I'm not sure they want more preseason football. Okay. So that didn't really fucking answer anything, Roger. But what I'm getting from that, if I can just jump in there real quick, what I'm getting from that is I think before this CBA is done, I think we do get an 18-game schedule. I do think we get 20 weeks. I do think we get a Super Bowl on President's Day weekend, which people who have jobs that get off President's Day, they'll be happy. Not everybody has that. I get it. But still, you kind of have a national – now the Super Bowl becomes a national holiday.
Yeah.
Like President's Day becomes Super Bowl Day observed. That's what it is. Sorry, Washington. Sorry, Lincoln. sorry, FDR. Sorry, Teddy.
Move aside.
Got to move aside. Listen, thank you for your service. But it's football day. It's football recovery day. Everybody's getting drunk. Let's go. Man, you thought Thanksgiving Eve was the largest drinking time in the United States? If you make Super Bowl Sunday, that Super Bowl Monday, because that's it. President's Day becomes Super Bowl Monday.
Yeah,
the entire nation might drink itself to death. And I'm here to tell you, I'm here for it. But I think it happens before then, whether they amend the CBA, whether they decide to end it early mutually and come up with a new agreement and start from there. That may happen as well. I can see that happening, but I think we're getting 18 games sooner rather than later, which would be great because I don't like 17 games. It's uneven. It makes my I think we're all autistic, but it makes my fucking OCD brain just go fucking 17. No, I miss the old days of you're a 500 team, you're 8-8. Now nobody's 8-8. You're either 9-7 or 7-9, and it fucking sucks.
Well, no, Giants could still be 8-8 just when they tie with the Cowboys. 8-8.
We almost did that the year we made the playoffs. We were 9-7-1 because we had that game we tied with Washington. So, I mean, it could have. It still technically, I guess it still could have. But then you have the one there, and then you have that throws it all off, too. It's like, I don't want the fucking tie there either. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's like, does the tie help me or hurt me?
Yeah, it still messes with my brain. I want neat. I want order. That's why I watch football. It's on a gridiron, damn it. Everything's measured. Which, by the way, chain gangs starting to look like they're getting the boot. Chain gangs starting to look like they're done.
They said they're doing it in the preseason this year.
They're testing it out in the preseason. But like anything else, if it goes well in the preseason, they'll immediately throw it into games.
Well, they said if it goes good, it will start this year in the regular season.
They'll throw it right in there. So
I'm just glad though that they're gonna still keep the chains there as the backup because
you have to because if the technology fails, if something goes down, you still need that. And I think the people on the field still need the visual cue. You still need that. So, even if one day they do get rid of the chain gang, if they get rid of the chain, they'll still have the marker there to say, this is the 10-yard spot where you still have to get. Because I think the UFL does that. I don't think they have the chain on the field anymore. For does the UFL still have a chain? I don't think they do.
I can't remember.
But I know they have the marker.
Yeah, I know they have the line of scrimmage marker.
They have the line that has the digital of how many yards you have to go to, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then they have the 10-yard mark where you have to get, but it's not on a chain.
How about kind of sticking with the line of scrimmage thing? UFL does it where what do they call it? The virtual line of scrimmage, where it takes the information from the yard markers or whatever, and it says you are exactly 1.3 inches away from the first down marker, and they'll show it on TV. You like that little graphic? Did you not see it yet?
I haven't seen that particular graphic yet. Again, I've kind of bounced it. I'm usually busy on the weekends, unfortunately, so I haven't been able to catch a lot of the games. But as a fan for a viewing experience at home, I think that's good. See, that's the thing too. And Kirk Herbstreit brought this up on McAfee show today, and I think it's actually a decent observation. Is that a lot of what we see in football now, as far as the television presentation, has a lot of credit to go to Madden.
Yeah.
Both John Madden, the person, and obviously the game that he helped pioneer and was hugely involved with, and kind of add a lot of that stuff. And you think about it, like I think about the yellow line. You think about the yellow line is not official. Yeah, we get that, but that's because of Madden. That's on the screen because people were watching Madden football games and playing Madden football games. And man, wouldn't that be cool if they had that on a TV so you could actually see it? And then they did.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of those things. So we're getting to that point where, now will the NFL ever be that transparent where they'll, do stuff like that, have that transparency? I would love to see the NFL fully adopt that XFL/UFL, transparency where you hear the communication between the officials, the replay official, the officials on the field, who's saying what, why was this call made? What do you see in the booth? All that kind of stuff. I wish they would do that. They're never going to do it.
Yeah.
But I wish they would. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know if it becomes. Is it a thing with gambling? Is it opening up to lawsuit? I don't know. But they seem to just want to keep that locked down. Fine, whatever. For now, we'll see. But we're getting closer. Part of me is going to miss the Chan Gang. Part of me misses that. Seeing those guys trot out there, you stretch it out. That moment of anticipation is like, whoa, did he make it? Yeah, he made it. Or, we stopped him. Yeah.
Got to use a credit card to see if it's touching the pole.
Great, dude. That was great. I'm sorry. That's a great moment in football. I'm sorry. Yeah. A lot of people say, so it shows you how a multi-billion-dollar league and you're using an index card. Yeah, that's fucking cool. I'm sorry. It is. But, as with everything, time moves on. Things get, you
have to evolve.
More what it is. And, college football is still probably going to have your chain gang. Maybe except for the big games. Maybe they change too for the the playoffs and the championships and things like that. But college football will be the same. High school football is still going to have your chain gangs out there. Listen, as long as it's accurate, I don't have a problem with it. I don't think anybody else have a problem with it. But much like I've seen other people say, whether it's Herbstreit, McAfee, whoever, the first time that there's a questionable call with that technology, it's going to get fucking loud.
Real quick.
It's going to get loud. People are going to be all over that shit. All over. Yeah. And it's going to be like, well, if the chain gang was there, they would have gotten it right. Like, that's it. I think Pat made the comparison on his show today. If you're watching, I know we reference Pat a lot, but it's a sports show. I watch Dan Patrick too. Love Dan Patrick. Dan Patrick has said a lot of things similar. Like you see the Chiefs on like a 4th and 5, they gain 3 yards and get a first down. People are going to be upset. All of a sudden, it's the script. The computer's writing the script. It's AI. AI's writing the script for this. It's coming. So it's like, again, I think there's two ends of this. There's people who hate technology anything whatsoever. I want chains. I want measuring. Give me a fucking yardstick. I don't care. That's what I want. And then you have the other side, which is everything should be technology. Everything should be chips and computers and fuck all the old shit. I think you need to have a little bit of the both to kind of work with each other here, especially in this and in the game. And I know I'm somebody who on one end has said get rid of fucking baseball umpires and just robot umps the whole time. So I get that, you know. So maybe, you know, I should heed some of my own advice when it comes to that. But baseball's so fucking boring and
especially yesterday during a game. I guess there was a home run or hit off the top of a wall, which should have been a ground rule double.
Okay.
And they called it a home run, and they went to review it. They kept it, even though it was a
ground rule double.
Ground rule double, and the ump left his mic on, and they basically admitted that they had to keep it the home run, otherwise they would look like a bunch of asses for calling it a home run.
How did I miss that?
I'll have to look that up after the show, and I'll send it over to you. But when I saw that, I had to re-listen to it and see, and I'm like, holy shit. and surprisingly, it was not Angel Hernandez.
This is why the NFL doesn't want to have the transparency that the UFL does.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear Hockley on there go like, "Yeah, I fucked up, but I don't want to look like a jackass." I'm like, "Oh, don't do that! Don't do that."
If you think about NHL, I mean, how many times have we heard refs go up to players say, "Hey, we had to give them that one because
that happened to the one guy and he got fired for it."
Oh,
yeah. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, he left his mic on, and he's like, "Oh, well, we gave them one before, so we had to do a makeup call." And everybody went nuts. They were like, you called a penalty? It's like, here's the thing. It's something that we all knew that happened.
Yeah.
But it was never proven. It was never known, but we all knew, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
But then when it's confirmed by the guy on the ice, then it's like, you can't do that.
Okay.
Like, you can do it, but you can't do it.
Yeah.
And when he came out and admitted that, it was like, all right, well, you're fired. It became a whole thing. I remember that. That was a couple of years ago. But see, the difference is like the baseball umpires union is like fucking ironclad. Like, so that guy for doing that won't get fired. He won't even get suspended. He won't get fined. Nothing will happen to him. Yeah. And it's like that guy just changed the outcome of a game because he said, I didn't want to look like a jerk.
Yeah.
Robot umps, that's it. I switched back now. I was like, maybe I should be a little bit more concerned. Nope, fuck that. Robot umps. Let's get them.
I'm for both as far as NFL. I don't like the robot umps, but for NFL, technology, I think you have to do a little bit of both, like you said. But watch how much technology you bring in, because more technology you bring in, the more chances something could break, something could glitch, and change an outcome of a game compared to the human aspect of, say the
here's the thing. Like what I think you'll see is I think you'll have the chip in the ball, and that'll see if it's a first down or not. But the coach will be able to challenge it with the chain gang.
Yeah.
And be like, I don't trust that artificial intelligent piece of shit. Get the chains out there. I'm throwing a flag. Get the chains. I don't want that Terminator T-100 Skynet motherfucker telling me that they got a first down when I know we stopped them.
Which the new Enemy cartoon looks pretty good coming out. Terminator.
I did hear about that. I didn't see the trailer for it, but I mean, I'll give it a listen. I watched that Godzilla anime, and that shit was fucking terrible. So, I mean, I'll watch it.
There was Godzilla anime.
Yeah, there was a couple, and there was the 3 Godzilla anime movies. The first one was okay. The other 2 were garbage. And then there was the Godzilla Singular Point, which was fucking ass. Oh, it was terrible. So, I mean, I'll give it again. I'm not a huge anime fan. But
neither am I.
I'll give it a look. Like I'm not gonna, I'm not adverse. And again, I like the Terminator story, and they fucked up the films enough to where what is the anime gonna do?
Yeah.
The anime's not gonna fuck it up anymore. It's already pretty fucked up. So, but yeah, I think there was something else I wanted to talk about, and now I can't remember what the fuck it was. I don't know. It'll come to me once we end the show, as it always does, and I'll just stomp around and be mad and be like, I wanted to fucking talk about that.
Antonio Brown filed for bankruptcy.
Who did?
Surprise, Antonio Brown.
Oh, no shit. No, I mean, okay.
I mean, that was yesterday, but like when I saw that,
So did Red Lobster. Coincidence?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm like, holy shit.
Red Lobster's gone.
I guess the all you can eat shrimp.
They said all you can eat shrimp is going to save us. It's going to bring people in, and they're going to get other stuff, and that's what's going to do it. And nope, did not do that. Which is, I'm going to be honest with you. I have never eaten at a Red Lobster.
Dude, I was
once.
born in.
And I love seafood.
I've never been. Yeah,
I love seafood. I've never eaten ever, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's why I love seafood. It's because I never went to a Red Lobster. I don't know. All you can eat shrimp does sound inviting and tasty, but and I know like everybody talks about the Cheddar Bay biscuits and everything like that, but you can make those at home.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You can make them at home.
And the wife actually at her job, they get buffets or whatever like that. The workers bring it in. It just happened to be Red Lobster that day, and she brought the biscuits home. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. And I ate a little bit of it. I'm like, like what's the big deal?
I think you have to have it there. Like when you bring something home, it's colder. So like I've had this problem with people who like eat Chick-fil-A or anything like that you bring home. Like I already had a couple of people who were like, they didn't want to eat Chick-fil-A for one reason or another. I don't even think it was the political one. They were just like, I don't know, I don't want to get it. And then they finally get it, but they got it like delivered through DoorDash, and it came like 40 minutes later, and it's cold and stuff like that, and they eat it, and it's like, it's okay, but it's not great. It's like, no, when you get it there, and you fucking take a bite of that sandwich, or you take a bite of those nugs, and they're fresh, and it burns the skin off the inside of your mouth with just deliciousness. Like, come the fuck on. Like, the waffle fries are so good. It's like, I'm getting horny over it. It's so good. So I think it's a lot of that. Like, there's a lot of things that you have to have there. Like McDonald's fries. McDonald's fries are fucking untouchable if you get them at McDonald's. If you get them delivered and they're cold in any way, shape, or form, even if they're lukewarm, there is something molecularly that happens to a McDonald's French fry that the moment it goes below the surface temperature of the sun, it tastes like shit. But as long as it's still molten, it tastes fucking fantastic.
So that's why as soon as I buy, if I go through a drive-through for the whole family, get the bag, put it down, start driving.
Oh, absolutely. No, the fries have to be eaten when you're doing it. Once you get them.
Yeah.
And then God forbid though, sometimes you go to the drive-thru, sometimes you get it, and you get the last batch of the fries that were in there.
Yeah.
Before they do the fresh batch, so then they're like heater warm, and it's like, oh, we got the garbage fries. Fuck, it's the worst.
We didn't win the lottery tonight.
We didn't win it. We didn't get it today. We did not get it today. And by the way, McDonald's, stop trying to be fucking White Castle. Stop cooking your burgers on top of the fucking onions. Can we just go back to the way that was, please? Your burgers are fucking shit now. I'm sorry. I'd rather eat Burger King burgers at this point. Whopper.
I only eat McDonald's when I'm drunk.
And your friend is kicking the dirt off his shoes in the middle of a McDonald's after falling into the mud.
Yeah, falling in from the. Oh, dude, I got a ditch in the yard. I got to take a picture of it and send it to you.
Hey, listen. Beer was good. The beer stayed safe. And that's the important thing. No matter what, no matter how messed up my shoes got or pants or how much mud I had on me, whether I broke an ankle or not, the beer was safe. And that is always the most important thing.
Yes.
I mean, other than that, what do we got? I know tonight, as we're recording this, the Rangers are playing the Panthers in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Fuck the Rags. Let's go Panthers. Kitty go meow meow. Edmonton won Game 7, so it's going to be Dallas and Edmonton out in the West. The Pacers lose a heartbreaker to the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. They were leading and doing well the whole game, and then who was it? Tatum got the game-tying buzzer beater there.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown. I could one of the. I'm not well versed in NBA. Sorry.
Yeah.
But either way, Celtics got it to overtime. Ended up winning in overtime. Kind of steal Game 1 at home. That's a heartbreaking game. Can the Pacers come back from that, especially out there in Boston? We'll see. Who's out in the West? Minnesota and Dallas. Yeah. So Dallas is in both of the conference finals, both the Mavericks and the Stars. So Dallas can do everybody. Dallas is doing something except the fucking Cowboys. Cowboys! We laugh at you because you suck.
We're all in. We're all in.
We're all in. See, it's the one thing we Giant fans and Eagle fans can really
Jerry,
come together.
Jerry, you're not all in because you're not in it. The other two are all in it. You're not.
The other two are in. They've been. Yeah, they're doing it. Even the Mavericks, who I didn't think were going to be. They're in it. The Stars are the number 1 seed. They've been rocking it all year.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are next year's champions. Always next year's champions, unfortunately. But what are you gonna do? Watch, we're talking all this shit, and the Cowboys do something this year.
The Cowboys finally win a Super Bowl this year.
That's always how it goes. That's always how it goes. So that's what's currently going on. I think in as far as relevant sports right now. We talked a lot of the NFL and other shit that was going on. Talked just briefly there about the other shit, and I don't know. Talked a little bit about Terminator anime.
Yeah,
I do want to go see Mad Max Furiosa. I don't know what I'm a big Mad Max.
That's
person.
growing on to me. Yeah, that's growing on me.
I know a lot of people are iffy on it, and that's fine. But I'm just a Mad Max fan anyway. So anything within that universe, I kind of dig. Plus, I mean, I have a crush on Anna Taylor-Joy, so what are you gonna do?
Me and my mom saw the new Planet of the Apes movie, Kingdom.
I heard that was good.
It was okay. Like, we expected more. It was good to go to the movies, but I expected a lot more out of it. It was slow in the beginning, but once it did get going, I'm not going to spoil too much. The opening scene with what they did with Caesar was really cool.
Well, I kind of saw. I spoiled myself on it. We're not going to spoil everybody else out there if you haven't seen it.
That's why.
But I spoiled myself on it because I don't get to the theater often, but I want to know what happens. I'm one of those assholes. I'm again a lot like with Mad Max. I'm a huge Planet of the Apes guy. I love anything in that universe, especially listen, I'm somebody who loves the old ones, and I'm talking like I love Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Like, I love like all those ones where everybody's like, oh, they got lesser and lesser in quality. I'm like, no, that's cool when you have the fucking ape riots in the middle of L.A. and fucking all this. I love that shit. I love it. And these new movies have been fantastic and wonderfully done. So, and seeing kind of what this movie was, it seems like this one was a little more. They kind of played with it a little bit more of, kind of dealing with how facts become myth, become legend, and then who interprets what the real meaning of what things were and stuff like that. So it's a very, it's as Planet of the Apes always was a very intriguing, somewhat political, it's like socio-political kind of commentary kind of movie. So interested to see how that works out. I do want to see it myself, obviously. I don't want to go based off what other people have said, so I will eventually see it.
And I did read an article that they did, I'm not sure if it's the creators or whoever owns the rights to the Planet of the Apes, said that their goal is to do 9 movies, and this one here was the 5th one, so we still got 4 more movies to go.
I heard that they kind of want to do, they did their first 3, then they're going to do 3 kind of middle ones here. And they said the first 3 were kind of like the beginning, how the Planet of the Apes started, then this one is going to be how the apes kind of evolved their society and became, how the planet became solidified as ape culture, ape society, all that stuff. And then the last three are going to be almost like how the first three from like the 60s and early 70s were.
Yeah.
Where you have like the astronauts from the Icarus coming back and dealing, like you're going to have a society of apes that never dealt with humans talking, don't know anything like that. Now dealing with these, like it's going to be kind of almost like that, which I'm excited to see how they do that. And I think they can. Again, these movies have been done well enough, they're good enough, and I think they make enough money that they're coming through. Like, like I look at the Monsterverse and Godzilla and Kong and everything like that. Yeah, it looks silly. A lot of shit. They kind of went with Showa stuff, but as we saw, they spent the least amount of money on this last Godzilla movie, and it made the most out of all the Monsterverse movies.
Yeah.
So they're gonna keep on fucking making them. Like they're not stopping them. So I'm excited to see where we go from here. Hopefully the next one is a little bit more Godzilla. I mean, the last two movies have been very Kong centric.
I haven't seen it yet, so
I'm just gonna let you know it's a very Kong centric movie. Okay. Kong, there's a lot of personal growth and everything like that. I'll say this. I'll say the character arcs are Godzilla. I mean, Kong is very, he does go through a bit of a growth. He's looking for, companionship. He's dealing with loneliness. He's dealing with all these other kind of emotions. Godzilla is just looking to catch fucking hands. That's the entire fucking movie. It's just Godzilla wants fucking some. He wants the fucking smoke. Doesn't care who. Doesn't care what the fuck is up. He just wants to fucking go.
Yeah.
So, interesting. It's interesting. I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. If you like 70s Godzilla, if you like the late 60s, early 70s Godzilla movies, you're gonna fucking love this one. It's Showa era all over. And it's enjoyable. It is. I enjoyed it. My nephew enjoyed it, who I went to watch. He's another Godzilla freak. Which is, listen, if I'm your uncle, you're going to like Godzilla. I'm sorry. You don't have a choice. But it was good. I enjoyed it.
All right. I think we'll wrap this up here now.
Yeah. I'm fucking sweating. Dude, it is hot. It is fucking hot. First hot day of the year.
Yeah.
I am sweating.
Work was bad. That's why I got home, washed up real quick, and luckily the man cave is nice and cool.
Dude, I just took a shower before I came on here. I'm going to have to take another one. My fucking titties are sweating. Got titty sweat already.
So, till next weekend, it's your good friend Jimbo.
And it's your boy King.
We're out.
Sweating titties.